everybody. Welcome to Dad Casual, where full-time dads and casual gamers come together to discuss everything about the games that we wish we had more time to play. Thanks for being here. We have a really fun week. I can't believe it's March already. We're still celebrating Mario Day, which happens every year on March the 5th. There's this really funny E3 story. I believe so.
March 10th.
March 10th.
Mario.
That's it. So we're
1 0.
1 0.
Guys,
1 0.
stop screwing up.
1 0.
This is my intro. This is my intro. There's a funny E3 story from Ubisoft that we got to get into. Counter-Strike 2 rumors. Anybody for the Counter-Strike fans out there? The Angry Birds fans are like angry.
Oh no!
Big surprise there. And a little bit more. We're gonna have some fun today. Preston, as usual, has some. He's excited about wrestling or something. I don't know. We'll get into that too. But anyway, we have the crew here. You've already heard them. We've got Preston.
What's up, guys?
We got Houston.
Bada bing.
And I'm Andy Bond. Welcome, guys, to episode number, 29. That's insane. I don't know how we've already gotten to that many episodes. Before we know it, we're going to be doing like episode 50. And it'll just, I don't know, we'll be there. But what's up?
Not much, man. It's late tonight.
It's late.
We were a little behind schedule getting everything rolling on the run of show, and OBS was giving us some issues for the recording. So
yeah, technical difficulties.
Yeah, but we're here.
We are here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
it's been a solid week.
So Houston, how about since you've kind of already going, like, tell us about what's going on in your world, man. What's up this week?
Yeah. So I've been gigging like left and right on the weekends. The past couple weeks. Also dealing with even more car issues. We just can't get to the bottom of what's wrong with our main car right now. So that's been fun. But I did play some games.
Nice.
Really just game. I'm still on Yakuza.
I did play some game.
Yeah, I played game.
Just the one.
But I'm still really enjoying it. I'm getting really deep in the story now. It's a very long game, like I said. So still having fun with that. We mentioned like it's, what are they calling it now? Like a Dragon Ishin. Like Yakuza changed their whole naming convention. They don't call the games Yakuza anymore. So the newest one from that studio is out. So I might, you suggested I look into that one, which I really hadn't paid much attention to yet, but it's samurais with handguns. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they've abandoned Yakuza. I just think Like a Dragon is a different series.
No. So from this moment forward, Yakuza Like a Dragon is the last game with the name Yakuza. Anything else in that series released from now on will be called Like a Dragon.
Wow.
Really?
Which is really weird. It's going to be like a Dragon, Ishin 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. And then they have another series called like Judgment or something like that, which is more of like a brawler style game.
Are they trying to separate from the actual mafia that the Yakuza are?
Beats me. I really don't understand it.
I mean, it could be a cultural thing. Who knows?
So I think their studio name, Ryuga Gotoku, means like a dragon in Japanese. And so that might be just part of the reason. Just want some more, I don't know, congruence with their name.
Gotcha. Well, Preston, how about you, man? What's up?
Not much. I have played all of 30 minutes of my first ever Minecraft game. So,
And it's not even, you haven't even ever played the regular Minecraft?
I have not.
Yeah, you're playing Dungeons because
I
it just
am.
came out yesterday for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, though.
So
On PlayStation Plus,
PlayStation
right?
Plus, yeah.
Yeah.
So far it's a fun little game. I don't know. I saw online. There's some online play there. Not sure what that entails.
It's kind of like a dungeon crawler, but isn't it a little bit? I guess it's not it's not like Diablo, but it's kind of that vibe, right?
I don't know.
I thought it had like a Gauntlet Diablo kind of vibe.
It feels like you're just walking around so far, just walking around like one hit, maybe two hit to kill people. But again, I'm 30 minutes in, so I can't.
It's not to the point where you actually have to dodge and conserve ammunition or whatever.
You guys may know this, but is there no jump in Minecraft?
There is in regular.
Yeah,
Minecraft.
there is.
Oh, okay. I haven't figured that out yet. If there is,
I think the type of game you're playing, that isometric top kind of somewhat top down view. It's just there's no jump, but regular Minecraft has it.
Cool. It's a fun little game though. What about you?
So
You been playing anything?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on the barely playing. So I did boot up Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I am not very far, so I really can just give my impressions here really quick. This is certainly not even a first impressions episode for that game. I want to keep playing. So far, it is hard. It reminds me a lot of Neo, which those games I didn't get very far in either. I actually don't prefer the gameplay of the Neo games to even, I mean, Bloodborne might be the closest Dark Souls, or I should say FromSoft game. It's just because of the speed of the combat. I don't know. It feels a little PS3 era for me as far as the fighting and combat goes.
That might be before some of our listeners' time. PS3.
But I need to give it. It just feels a little old, like an old action RPG. But it is. I mean, it's brutally difficult, and I don't know. I'm enjoying it so far. I want to get into where like can get more weapons and things, but it's a good game. So I'm gonna try to keep playing a little more. I've only played 2 hours. It's just not that much for me. So we'll get into that. I also finally got a new Nintendo dock, so I've been able to.
Hey, there it is.
We talked about it. So I actually did do, and you know what I did is I didn't get a dock. I just got, it's kind of just like an HDMI cable, honestly. Because now I think the problem too was like the kids would because we have some wired Nintendo controllers when friends come over and we want to do 4-player, and they just rip it down and the Switch would fall. It would be terrible. So I mean, there's a dad life complaint right there. But yeah, I mean, all good. It's all good.
So the HDMI adapter, it's HDMI and power, right?
Yeah. So and it has the USBs, so that I can plug everything else in.
So it's just like a super slim solution.
So you can, I mean, that's like a travel solution too. If you're in a hotel or something and want to play on the screen.
Oh yeah. Better
than the dock.
Yeah, definitely look on Amazon. I mean, there's a ton of them, and it was $20.
Nice. That's
compared to
cheaper than Nintendo's.
$70.
Yeah, I think it's 70.
Yeah.
Nintendo is out of their mind with accessories. I just don't get it. I wanted to share this. So the reason I played Wolong Fallen Dynasty, I wasn't actually wanting to play that game. For some reason, you ever have like a game that you're not interested, but then like, man, something just keeps hitting you. You're like, I think I want to try this game. Like, so many good reviews. I was like, I want to play Octopath Traveler. And I even messaged you guys. I was like, I think I'm going to boot it up because the sequel come out, Octopath Traveler 2. I was like, I don't want to buy a new game right now. I'm under a dad budget. But the original is on Game Pass. I was like, pumped.
Super pumped.
Sit down on like, I don't know. I want to say it was like the 1st of March. And I'm like, all right, let's go. They removed it from Game Pass like the day before.
Oh,
womp womp.
Feels bad,
man.
And I literally was like, where's the game? I know. I had checked, and it was on my phone on the app. And I was like, because there's actually a really good Game Pass app. And I was like, oh man. And it was full $60 now. I'm like, I'm not going to play it.
That's the downfall of the game subscription services, I guess.
So yeah, I mean, I have been praising it for a while now, and I still think it's cool. And obviously, in place of that, I was like, okay, well, they added Wolong, so let's download it, and that's pretty cool.
So with PlayStation, I know like PlayStation Plus with the games that like now I own, as long as I have PlayStation Plus, I own Minecraft Dungeons. Is it the same if you would have downloaded Octopath Traveler?
No, so Game Pass? It's more like PlayStation. You know how they have the essential games they give you every month? But then they also have the games they add to the extra and premium tiers. Well, if they take the extra and premium tiers games away, you don't keep those. You only keep the essential ones you add.
Gotcha.
Xbox has the same thing. Their essential is called Games with Gold, which you can add. They do have those 2 or 3 games every month. And then if it's the library of games, they can remove them. And they do all the time. I mean, they're just about to remove, for example, if you really, for some reason, still haven't played Undertale, it's about to leave. There's every month. I saw there's always games
different
leaving
ones
that service.
Gotcha.
which is a bummer. I mean, it just depends. Like, my son has been playing Dragon Ball Z, Fighter Z, and it just left the service. But it's now on PlayStation, so it's, having both consoles, because his dad runs a podcast.
That's the reason.
That's the reason.
We do it for you guys. That's the only reason we have gaming consoles.
Exactly.
That's 100%. And I have been, one last one is, I've been wanting to play Elden Ring again, and I let Houston have my physical copy, and so
like 3 years ago.
I want it back.
Go get it, bro.
Come get some? Okay. Cool. Well, if that's all, I mean, maybe we just jump in right into some news. It's not the craziest news time right now, but I think there's some pretty fun stories and a couple. I'm really excited to get to a few. So I wanted to open up with Mario Day, March 10th. Today for us, as time of recording, is March 7th. What's awesome about the way we're recording and posting to YouTube is our posting should be much quicker.
Yep.
So we'll probably be up before the 10th, and then you'll be able to take advantage of some amazing deals that hopefully aren't one day only. Can maybe you guys can correct, but there's 33% off Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury. I actually really want that game because it's the only 3D Mario game I don't currently have.
Same.
And Bowser's Fury is like true 3D. It's 3D World is weird. It's that like, it's three-dimensional, but you can't spin the camera and run it, and it's not like open world. Not that I would call Odyssey open world per se, but it's more like open zone. But then Super Mario Odyssey is also 33% off. Mario Party Superstars is as well, and new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, which is all, nothing crazy there, but I think a few of those. The main thing, and I think this is why this is news, is we just talked about this with the Nintendo's accessories. They never
don't go on sale.
Nothing.
Yeah, especially the first party stuff.
Yeah,
it just doesn't.
I'm super excited about it.
They also have this really cool red. It's like the red controllers only if you don't have a Switch. Which at this point, I would personally probably wait because I know there might be. I mean, we talked about it last week. The new Switch coming. But there's a really cool Switch with red controllers for Mario Day coming out, and you get to pick one of 3 games it's more of like your choice, and like Mario Odyssey is one. I personally think of the 3. I mean, it's Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, and I think Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. But it looks pretty cool. Cool little package,
and that's only $2.99.
Yep.
So it's
sweet deal.
Yeah, nice little deal.
Cool. So yeah, you guys have any thoughts about? I mean, other than that, that's just more of a sales update for.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up it. Honestly, the new. Which one did you say, Andy? Sorry.
3D World.
3D World
plus Bowser's for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever played it? So it's an older game. It was on the Wii U originally.
No, I've never played it, and I love Mario.
Oh, it's great. So like on you play a lot of Mario Maker 2. You know the clear pipes. Mm-hmm. That's from Mario 3D World.
Gotcha.
And the cat suit.
And the cat suit.
Yeah.
Which the cat suit is in the movie coming up. We talked about that too. But Bowser's Fury is like actually like this really, really cool open world experience. And I've played it on Noah, my son, my 8-year-old, has a friend come over sometimes. Shout out to Zion and his dad, Michael, who I'd like to get on the podcast. He has that game, and sometimes when he comes over or stays the night, they play that, and I'll come up and play with him for a little while when they can't do a level or something. But he's still at that stage. Every once in a while, he still can't do a level, which I think that those days are ending soon.
Does that make you feel amazing when you have to beat a level for him?
Yeah,
you're like, I'm the man.
The real best feeling in dad gaming is when your son thinks he is better than you,
and then you just smash him.
Oh, bro, you playing Super? Oh yeah. If you're playing, I actually can't like playing Super Smash Brothers. I'll be like, I'm gonna go easy on him, but then when his health is sitting at 200%, I'm like, I gotta Falcon Punch you, bro.
Bro, did you just say you have to Falcon Punch your kid?
Yes,
yes, I did.
Backtrack saved.
There it is.
All right. Okay, so we'll just move into the next news. I think this is a hilarious article. Comes from an IGN article by Logan Plant. It says Ubisoft confirms it will be at E3, quote, if it happens.
If it happens in just a few months.
I just can't believe. Okay, so I'll read the quote in detail. On Ubisoft's Q3 2022-23 investor call, CEO Yves Guillemot, Guillemot, I think it's the L is silent, responded to an investor asking if the company planned to attend the event in person this year to show its games. This is because the big three, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, have all confirmed they are not attending E3. So it's kind of dry at this point. And EA doesn't attend. I don't think Activision, because it's being acquired probably by Microsoft, I don't think they're attending. So really, Ubisoft would be the last major publisher left. And his response was, if E3 happens, we will be there and we will have lots of things to show, Guillemot said.
Yeah, this is so weird because like we all come from a company that like did trade shows and stuff, and like that's like a full year planning. Like there's like a person or like a small team that like is dedicated to doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just a reminder, E3 happens in June.
Yeah.
It's March. That's so soon.
Yeah, roughly 3 months away. That's crazy.
Do you think that like we're misinterpreting the way he's saying that? Like is he saying?
It sounds like he knows something we don't know.
That's what my first thought was. Like, is E3 going to change into something else that,
or is it getting canceled next month?
Yeah, is it getting canceled, or is it not going to be for what it's always been used for because the big three aren't showing up? Is it just going to be no announcements and just internal type? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but like.
So that's a great question. There's another quote that I didn't list, but I totally should read. This comes from Reed Pop. This is the PAX guys. So PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo. They are now taking over for the first time. They are the ones managing and putting on E3. And PAX is an amazing fan event for video games and board games and all types of gaming and media. But the president, Lance Finsterman, said, E3 is full speed ahead, and we are pleased with the progress and engagement from the community.
Yeah.
As we have confirmed with exhibitors, they are eager to share more and details get cemented and participants ready their own detailed plans. In other parts of the ReedPop gaming portfolio, we rarely release participants until close to the event, but we will adjust our style to the E3 way as we can. I think that's interesting, and they're sending out like first round of media and content creator registrations are starting. Mm-hmm. So like, no, it's happening because content, like if you're IGN or someone, and this honestly, I think would be a great year if you are a smaller, I mean, I would love for us to go. I don't know if that's possible.
I mean, your birthday is in June.
Yeah. Maybe because we have 30 episodes, we could see if we could register and get access without having to pay. That'd be pretty cool.
There you go. ESA, hit us up.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Anyway, I just think if it happens, is so.
Yeah, it's like, what are they planning? It's like, do they have a backup plan where it's like, okay, if it's still happening next month, we're going to throw together like a 20-minute video presentation only and like not bring any kind of other branding materials and send 3 people to just do a presentation?
Or was, like Andy said, was he joking, or did we misinterpret? Like if somebody said, is episode 30 going to happen? If we make it, like,
it just sounds like an insult. It sounds like an insult to the ESA and ReedPop.
Yeah, that's true.
It more sounds just so uncertain. Like, if it happens, you surely know it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
if you don't, then that quote by the ReedPop president makes no sense. So I don't know. I don't know, man.
Weird.
But anyway, so E3 is just always a fun thing to cover in gaming news, just because, especially the last few years, it used to be this dynamic Xbox versus PlayStation versus Nintendo. Who's going to have the best show? And now it's like they're probably all going to do things around that time, so you can still play that game, but it'll probably sadly never.
There's competition now. There's Summer Games Fest. There's like whatever. Is that Jeff Keighley or is that the IGN one?
That's Summer Games Fest is YouTube and Jeff Keighley.
Okay. Yeah. So there's that. There's stuff from IGN. There's Summer of Gaming is IGN. And so, yeah, there's competition now where there used to be none. Everybody just all went to E3. So,
yeah.
We'll see.
Makes it better for
see what
all of
happens.
us.
Wild.
Competition is good.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So outside of that, this is crazy news. Counter-Strike 2, if you're a big fan of CSGO or the original Counter-Strike, Counter-Strike 2 is real and will be in beta, quote, soon, it's claimed. This comes from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming. He says that according to Richard Lewis, who is, I was reading, he like hosts tournaments. He's a major basic personality in the CSGO community. He says that the new version is almost certainly set to be released under the working title Counter-Strike 2, and the tentative release date for the beta is in this month of March, with April 1st at the outside. Pretty crazy. I think that no news, nothing.
Yeah, just
because I was just looking it up. Counter-Strike Go is 13 years old now, roughly, with 804,000 average players per month.
dang. That's a lot of players.
But it's a very popular game still. Which yeah. Go ahead.
So I played a little bit because it was such just a big deal when I was a kid, like in high school. Everyone played Counter-Strike Go, and I played, and I was just kind of terrible at it. Like, I mean, it was fun. It's just not a game that I picked up, but it's always been a big deal and has had a really like faithful community. And like, I know that they're talking about like skins is a big deal from the old game, and people are like, when a game is that live service for that long, like people feel like they've invested in it. You know what I mean? And like, am I going to be able to like bring that stuff over? It's kind of similar to, I would say, like Overwatch to Overwatch 2, though that certainly wasn't that long. I mean, the original Overwatch didn't last.
Yeah, and
that
they
long.
actually allowed you to bring a lot of your stuff over. So, yeah, when it's that old, though, like I think it's almost understandable. It's like, all right, cool, you got your money's worth of whatever you spent on the game. Like, there's just no possible way to bring everything over from a decade-old game. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm sure the community's like super happy for it because I mean, it was one of the biggest like Call of Duty competitors back in the day. So
yeah. Did you play it, Houston?
I think I've played a couple of games of it, but was it only PC? Because if that's the case, then no.
Gotcha.
No, it was on Xbox.
Misremembering. Yeah, I feel like I have some vague memories of playing it, but I was definitely more into Call of Duty and Halo and all that kind of stuff back at the same time.
Counter-Strike being in the orange box, along with like Half-Life and all of those games that like those Valve games, it just was a surprise hit, man. Everyone loved it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it does.
Valve has always been an interesting developer. Like, as far as like, obviously they're a publisher, like, and they host like it's Steam, right? Like, that's where most people probably today have a library of games if they're a PC player.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I would like, you look at their major hits like Half-Life, and like, why has the Half-Life franchise not continued? It was a mega hit. And I think for them, they're like, we are just raking in the money from Steam. Why do we need to develop games? We don't need to anymore. But it's such a hit. I don't know. It's very interesting. And they even did Half-Life Alyx, which was that VR experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think fans out there are like, yeah, but what about like the main franchise? Like, to people, a lot of people are like, VR is cool and all, but it feels still like a side thing. It's not a main title.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that way. I think VR is super cool, but it's just not main titles.
Definitely.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfect pivot off of what we just talked about of bringing your skins over and like, did you get the value out of your game? This is Angry Birds fans are angry. This comes from a Kotaku article by CC Jiang. Angry Birds was removed from game stores in the worst way. So Rovio Games announced that it will remove the paid version of the app from the Google Play Store due to the game's impact on our wider games portfolio. And they said that the main focus of the company needs to be looking forward into the future and our live games, as in live service games, community manager Sean Becklew said, and the studio's official Discord server. That's what's needed for the business. That doesn't mean we don't want to bring back some of the classic nostalgic experiences, but we have to be more creative and figure out solutions where we can do that without harming the live games. Again, I want to keep saying live service games is what they mean, and the main source of our business. So the way I'm interpreting this is that game was you sell it once and you keep it forever. Mm-hmm. That's hurting our business model because no one's paying us anymore. So we're going to shut it down so you play our live service version that you have to pay to play.
And why just the Google one? So
they were going to do Apple as well, and they recanted it. I was reading that. If you look in that Kotaku article, and anyone can look it up, they decided not to after the backlash, and they just changed the name. They decided to change the name to here. I'll look it up real quick.
It's so weird.
Red's First Flight. They are taking the word Angry Birds out of it.
Interesting.
And
that's so weird.
What do you think about the idea of like, we sold this game full price and we are actually going to take it away from you because now you're not paying us anymore, even though
that's weird.
20 years ago you bought it full price. Now that's a long time.
So are they I mean, I guess they can't like remove it from your phone, like if you already have it downloaded.
No, but they
can delist it.
Yeah, if they delisted it,
that's
then
the Flappy Bird syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I was listening to another podcast where they were mentioning this. I think it was GameScoop, and the main frustration is that the first game, like it's like you mentioning, it's the first game is not a live service game. So the first game was like a puzzle game to where like every mission had a set solution that you could solve given the tools, like without having to buy
any
extra time or extra birds or like extra like special weapons. And so it was just a true like just static puzzle game. And so Angry Birds 2 is live service. So like once you use a certain amount of birds and you can't finish a level, you can like here's some gems or whatever to get this other bird. But if you fail at that, and then you have to wait 24 hours or pay money
or watch an ad.
Yes.
Then like I don't it's just so interesting because I'm like that the first Angry Birds game too originally I feel like was a beacon of like what what games could be if you were to just pay for it. You do a one-time pay and then they constantly were pumping out free content. Like I played a lot of Angry Birds. I remember, what was that, 2000, and when did it come out?
But didn't they have the Star Wars DLC as well that went like so hard?
It was awesome too. I remember thinking like, what a cool. And then they've had movies. They've had like honestly, I feel like
so much money from it.
I mean, Apple kind of like adopted Angry Birds as their poster child for the App Store for a while.
Did you work at the Apple Store when it was all over the walls? I remember it being like on the big.
I worked from like 2008 to 2010. I worked 2011.
I just remember him being on those light up backlit walls.
I mean, it just was so like everyone could play it. It was easy, and it really was a good game. Like you know how so many mobile games. I don't know are even copies of that. Like there are a lot of copies of Angry Birds.
Oh sure, 2009 is when it came out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I probably was
December 2009, so almost 2010.
Gotcha.
And like honestly, I think it's almost like would they have even had the movies if they were like a free to play and like I don't know. I think the way that they did it and the good faith they had towards their customers only brought more money to them.
Yeah. When was the Angry Birds movie? That was recently, right?
There was two of them.
No, not recent. I'll look it up for you. You want me to
Last
look it up?
5 years.
I got it. 2016 and 2019.
2019. Okay.
Okay, so the sequel was somewhat recent. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason Sudeikis, Josh Gad, Peter Dinklage, Bill Hader.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
it was stacked.
Danny McBride. That's actually a pretty good cast.
Yeah, I mentioned this in our movie or video game adaptations episode when we were talking about The Last of Us. Like those movies, I remember not sucking. Like they were
pretty good.
I mean, they weren't amazing, but like for what they were actually pretty entertaining.
I mean, really looking back, I feel like the developer probably dropped the ball with that IP. Think after Star Wars, there could have just been more. I mean, they could have done.
They could have been like a mobile Fortnite type thing where they just.
Fortnite is a great example of like doing the amazing with an IP. Like they just continue to roll out content and partnerships.
Yep.
Like Angry Birds could have done that for a while and they just didn't. And they were so creative. The levels never felt plug and play. They never felt like complicated. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it never felt too difficult.
Yeah, and it was still fun. So anyway, that's enough about Angry Birds and mobile gaming. I thought it was just. And it's just one of those topics like, is that okay? Is that okay? Like if another, look, what's another beloved game that's been around for a while that maybe has a sequel that, like, was it really hurting your profit margin and your revenue stream that bad that you had to shut it down?
Yeah, maybe they're not making any money on it now.
I mean, yeah, that's a purely financial decision. That's like a soulless, like, hey, like, are we got to fix our bottom line kind of decision? We want to make the best game possible decision.
But that's what they kept saying. All the press releases are like, this is for the gamer. And I'm like, no.
It's the opposite.
Yeah,
the gamer surely has tried your Angry Birds 2 game. Like, if they like the game, and they are saying, I don't want this.
Yep.
And you're shutting the original down in their face. So not a big fan of that.
So weird.
Capitalism. Right, Shane? No, I'm just kidding. Got to give him a shout out because he listens. Shane. He listens to our podcast.
Shout out Max as well.
And Max.
Shout out Max. They're going to be like, yeah, down with the system. All right. So our next news. Wrestling. WWE 2K23 MyGM mode new features revealed. You know I'm hosting this week, but I always feel like Preston, I gotta hand it off to you.
So one of my real quick before we do this, so one of my favorite podcasts I listen to is My Brother and Me, and they have a miniature podcast inside of a podcast called Munch Squad, and so every time they do like food. Like fast food, like restaurant business related news. He goes into like this little miniature like theme song thing, and then they just kind of like devolve into a mini podcast where they only talk about food for like 10 minutes and then they come back out of it. So I feel like that's wrestling for us. It's the Preston Wrestling Hour. It's like we need to come up with like a clever name and we'll get a theme song going and we'll do a transition and stuff. Yeah, we'll change the background. We'll do like a cage like background and stuff. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll make that happen.
We definitely need like a WWE sound, like glass breaks,
John Cena,
and then music plays, and then Preston's like WWE news.
We got a cryo effects, like fog effects coming across the screen. We'll do it.
Yes. So the biggest news out of this to me is share play. You can play MyGM mode with up to 3 other people.
Okay.
Who don't have the game and fight against each other. In GM mode.
Even if we don't have the game?
Yeah, in share play.
So in GM mode, do you play the wrestler or do you play the manager?
You play the manager.
You're managing me?
No. You'd be a manager.
Who's on third?
You'd be a manager and I'd be a manager. And then we try and create the best wrestling show, whether it be SmackDown, Raw, NXT, any of those.
So we each got our own wrestler and then we're just throwing them in the ring for the best match?
Not our own wrestler, our own TV show.
Oh.
What?
Yep. So
that's kind of wild.
This is like a fantasy of like if you feel like you could have done it better than Vince McMahon.
So there's a GM mode in Madden. There's a GM mode in NBA. There's NBA 2K. There's GM modes in all of those, or used to be in NBA 2K. I don't know if there's anymore. But so they brought this back last year in WWE 2K22, and it was a super hit. I enjoyed it too. So, and I watched the hour-long podcast with Xavier Woods and Tyler Breeze, and their YouTube channel is Up, Up, Down, Down.
Great name for a show.
They are wrestlers who also have a gaming podcast. It's an amazing show. They even
When's that collab coming?
Yes. Shout out, Up, Up, Down, Down. We want the collab. I want the collab.
Bring it.
So there's new GMs as well, which is cool. Some of you will know the name, some of you won't. Eric Bischoff, he was a staple in WCW.
I love his cookies.
Wait,
Bischoff cookies, so crispy.
Where's that?
Great with tea. Great with tea. They're like a tea. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So
I like that we don't like wrestling, so we're like, oh, great cookies. Him and famous Amos.
This is fair. Oh, and by the way, Houston, I know you saw me dip off for a second.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge derailed side note. The Apple Mouse is the worst charging device in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Who puts the charger on the bottom? You can't use it now.
What the hell? Anyways, and my mouse died, and I couldn't
just
change.
right here. Just a little plug right there in the middle.
You know, before we move too far on, I said famous Amos, but that's a pretty good wrestler name. Just saying. He can fight against Bischoff.
Definitely. Cookie wrestling.
Man, y'all are making me click that button tonight. So they added, it used to be just Raw and SmackDown. They added NXT and WCW, which WCW doesn't even exist anymore, but that's fun. They also added some new matches for this. So something about the GM mode that I think is cool. So you book matches, you try and you start with money, a certain amount of money. I think it's like $10 million or something. And you have to get through the whole year. So you can earn money, obviously, by putting on great shows. And then every 4 shows, you go to a pay-per-view, leads to WrestleMania at the end.
This is way more involved than I thought it would be. This is crazy.
Yeah. Well, and then
That's cool, though.
There are cards, and I don't understand all the cards yet, but like I can steal one of your people if I play a card or cards in a row.
So it's like kind of like trading like talent almost.
Yeah, exactly. So
because there's like a full draft and everything.
There is. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I just thought of a name for this too. Smack Talk instead of like SmackDown. Smack Talk. Same logo, like style, everything.
Yes.
I think we got something we can run with that there.
I'm down. Let's do it.
This is definitely, I feel like, a mega fan mode. Like this is not probably for the I just want to pick up the controller and fight a guy.
But if you can do the share play.
Yeah, is share play? I'm seeing in the notes here that you can do 4 players locally, but you can do that across.
That's what Xavier Woods said. So
okay, I mean that's awesome.
And so this is not a new concept for just wrestling. Like this is a PS5 or a PlayStation feature that I'm aware of. So there's a few games that they'll let you let a friend essentially take over the game. And you can share play it so somebody else can kind of demo it. So you you can do the watch party thing, where you're playing a PlayStation game, somebody else can come watch the game. Y'all can chat, have a little party chat going on, but you can then pass the controller over virtually to your friend.
Yeah,
so they're essentially they're remote streaming the game to your console. Yeah,
So,
but this is more of the It Takes Two kind of thing, but more players.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So,
gosh, we got to get back to It Takes Two.
Yeah, for sure. So I was looking at this. Let me see if I can pull it up. This is a little screen grab.
Hey, there you
go. Session settings, so you can do all of that. You start with, it looks like $3.25 million. So
reminder to those who are not watching this episode on YouTube or Spotify. YouTube is the video is going to Spotify as well now, but YouTube's probably the easiest place to watch it for most people. So make sure you get over to YouTube, Dad Casual Gaming on YouTube. Come watch it.
Subscribe, comment, ring the bell. We're not doing all that at the top of the show as much anymore, but please definitely Twitter, Instagram, everywhere that you can follow us and let people know. I think now that We are live. It's crazy. You think a podcast wouldn't be that big of a deal on like video? It's people talking about games and news, but man, people want to see our dumb faces. So come on over.
We've already seen the statistics. People they love the content. They love the visual content. So sorry to keep interrupting you, Preston. This is really interesting. I'm actually really enjoying it.
Go ahead and go for another half hour on this.
Just a cool half hour.
So you do get to set up like all the logistics. So you can pick where you're going. So you start out at a high school gym. What your crew is, your lighting and effects, your smoke machines, all of that. And then how you're going to advertise. So it's like a simulation.
You can pick the smoke machines too. That's incredible.
And your lighting design and your stage and all that. So you get to decide every week I'm trying to find and then here's some of the things. So cards, if you will, total cost, double cost, a superstar's GM, the bigger they are, different little things you can add. So I'm excited for this. Here's where I'm still a little nervous. It's a full $70 game.
Ooh.
On PS4 and PS5 from what I've seen.
Yeah, but that's all games at launch, right?
I know. It's just pricey.
I would just wait, man.
Wait till Black Friday. That'll be $20.
It's an annualized release too, for the most part.
Yeah,
like it'll go down pretty fast. It's not Nintendo. It's not going to be $60 forever, and it'll go down eventually. And I think I've started to learn that now. Like now, I really want to do Octopath Traveler 2 or like 1 or whatever.
For sure.
And I'm like, but why? I don't need a rush to pay for that. Or I don't know. So plenty of games to play either on Game Pass and there are a few that I'm definitely going to pay full price for.
Yeah. Like
for
Elden Ring.
Probably the next one for me will be Zelda or Star Wars.
Zelda for sure for me.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I can only do so many, and I think for the podcast it would be cool if one of us did Star Wars or something. I played the original, so
maybe he'll save the princess finally. Zelda will save
Star Wars Jedi Survivor. You talking about?
Yeah.
Wait, what was that, Preston? He's going to save the princess?
Zelda will finally save the princess.
Oh yeah. That's tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Houston, you could get the physical version of Zelda, and then we could do the old switcheroo.
I'm down with that.
I mean, I'm all about like I could get the physical version of Star Wars too,
or maybe
whatever.
Nintendo will send us 3 copies.
Yeah, they're like the least known for doing that. Well, let's move on. I know I want to do one more news story, just as something quick. I think this is pretty cool. So I'm a big I would say I'm a League of Legends fan. Because I love
Jared,
my own punishment.
Real quick, a quick sidebar on this. Our buddy Jared sent us an email as a fan saying, "When the heck are you guys talking about League of Legends?" So Jared, this is for you.
Here it is, Jared.
Oh, but this is barely League of Legends. Okay, so this is from this is a Riot Games news story, which is the developer of League of Legends, but it's because 2 former Riot Games developers and executives, they have formed a new studio and left Riot Games. This comes from Wesley LeBlanc at Game Informer. The new studio is called The Believer Company, and it was founded by former Riot Vice President Michael Chow, who will serve as the studio's CEO, and founding Riot member and League of Legends executive producer Steven Snow, who is now The Believer Company's chief product officer. The Believer Company has already secured $55 million in Series A financing too.
Not bad.
And they're initially to be put to work building a world-class team to deliver a next generation open world game anchored by an original IP, stories where player choices matter, and gameplay systems that bring players together rather than pushing them apart. So pretty cool. I'm not sure even really what to talk about here. I just think there are a lot of Riot Games critics. They have gotten themselves in a bit of a mess before, and their development strategy seems to be very motivated by selling more skins rather than actually improving the game or balancing it. The balancing system is commonly critiqued for being kind of all over the place.
Kind of hard when you have like 150 playable characters.
and that's the other thing is their model's all about like, oh man, new characters means more skins, and so they want to pump it. And listen, I still love League of Legends. I play Wild Rift and I play the original one. It's just there's just something so fun about it. But I know I'm not a pro player and I'm just for fun. So I'm not really complaining about the balances. I'm about it.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, this sounds like it's not going to be anything even remotely related to League of Legends or anything else that Riot's produced. It's just like it's cool to know that some of their talent is going elsewhere to kind of make new things. So,
yeah, and it's just interesting that people are branching off. They've had departures in the past, and they've had even some scandals. There's been some things internally and going on with Riot Games, and they're still a massive company, and they're producing. I mean, we've talked about the Netflix show before. We've talked about that they have their fighting game coming out.
I was just about to ask about that. Is that still no like real information on that?
They've released a little bit. They have their card game, and then they also have a open world game in development themselves. So there's a lot going at Riot. So it'll be interesting. I love it. It kind of reminds me of we like wrestling. You talked about when we talk about like, oh, Ukes has their own game coming out for AEW, and then there's this other game being made by 2K, or like the Dead Space, like comparison to Callisto Protocol. And I'm like, oh, Callisto Protocol kind of bombed. Dead Space has been really awesome. So I guess, like, despite the fact that Callisto Protocol was made by the original developers of Dead Space, maybe, it's kind of like answers like where the drama came from. Like, I don't know. I guess you never really know, but
I mean, an open world sounds amazing. I love open world games.
So do I.
I didn't realize it at the time, but I think every one of my top 3 games are open world games. And like, I don't really proclaim myself to be like a super open world game lover, except for the fact that I was just kind of like proof is in the pudding of like what I'm rating as my top game. So
for me, I would say if you would ask one of my favorite games, I would say adventure games. And it just so happens that a good open world to me is the best platform to make an adventure feel your own. Like you're like, oh, I can go anywhere I want. I don't have to go down this linear path.
Yeah, it's like God of War can be an action adventure game that's just set in an open world.
Yeah,
correct. Uncharted would be a great example. Of course, it's an adventure game, but it's so linear. You do like you can't go wherever you want. You're gonna do exactly what they have it, which it's still amazing. But that lack of choice of what I'm going to do in the game makes me, for some reason, not love it as much. I'm not saying I don't like Uncharted. I just don't like it as much as the recent God of War games or The Witcher or the Jedi Fallen Order game even. Like, I love like those worlds and stuff. It's just, they're fun. And that's not even true open world, but at least has some choice.
Yeah.
So that's it on news for today. I think this week, again, I think we actually covered some pretty fun topics this week, though we definitely have some more games coming out. I'm very curious about like I actually have not embraced a lot of the games that came out in February. Like, I know we had that Atomic Heart, and none of us, have you guys had any interest in playing that one?
No, it doesn't. I don't know. With everything that I want to play right now, that one doesn't. It looks cool, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to cross like the threshold for me.
Same.
Yeah, I was interested. Maybe I'll get to that. It's just too much. There's just too much to play, and I'm full in dad mode lately, man. Like I just haven't had as much gaming time, and I think that's the most relatable thing this podcast has to so many people is that like we want to be like, hey man, like I couldn't be more into video games. And I'm still not playing very much.
Yeah.
So what's dad life like for you dudes lately?
We're planning a trip. Not this coming weekend, but next. We're going to Dallas to go to a Ben Rector concert. Yeah, we decided to bring Rhett with us, my son. and invited my mom to watch him the night of the concert.
That's awesome.
So we're gonna make a little mini vacation for 4 days. We're gonna drive over to Dallas, I think, on a Thursday, and then spend a few days there. The concert's on Friday, and then spend the weekend exploring children's museums and zoos and all that fun stuff.
Would you say that you're living your best life?
I like it.
There's a Ben Rector song.
Nice.
Living my best life.
Yes.
He said dad podcast.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. I saw Ben Rector last year on my birthday in June. So amazing, just an amazing show.
Yeah, I'm ready to chill and listen to good music.
There's this one lineup with him in Florida.
Yes, for my birthday.
It's Ben Rector, Matt Kearney, Need to Breathe, Switchfoot. Who else? There's a few more. Jordy Searcy, Stephen Day. Like, I was like, that's like a lot of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I would love to do that. I don't know if that's going to happen, but.
What about
Sounds
you,
like
Houston?
it's fun, man. We're also planning a trip soon. We're going to be heading up to Nashville in April, like some point in April. So it's coming up sooner rather than later. Yeah. We're excited about that. We're going to go see some friends who are like more or less full-time musicians over there. They're a husband and wife that like play strings, and
nice.
Like the wife has like been on some really cool albums and done like the whole Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing. So shout out Mel. Excited to come see you guys. So we're excited about that. What else is new? My daughter, so my dad came into town this weekend and built my daughter a ramp for her wheelchair for the back door, so she could get some practice doing that. So it's awesome. He knocked it out in one day. Looks really nice. Gonna put like the whole like once the wood dries out, we're gonna put the like grip tape on it to make it even easier for her to kind of get up and down.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool. And still having car issues, like I mentioned.
That's like huge for her though, right? Like as far as getting in and out of the house.
Yeah. It's gonna make it a lot easier for her to like kind of just get some exercise, go outside, just have fun, get used to that whole dynamic as well.
Yeah.
Just for other places. Like our church bought like a little portable one for her to use specifically, which is like super nice.
Yeah.
Of them to do. So, it's just learning new things with her. And I mentioned this probably every other episode, but if you guys have any questions, and you guys by that I mean listeners, if you want to hear more about me talking about like parenting as a special, like the dad of a special needs child, I'd love to do that and kind of share our story more. Retell it, answer questions about it. But yeah, that's just something my wife and I are passionate about and want to kind of share our story more, so like people can feel more open about it and kind of normalize it. So
maybe we on either on a slow week or on a side podcast, I think it'd be really cool to either have more of a dedicated episode to that. I think would be a great episode specifically, especially whenever we have a slow week or whatever. It doesn't matter. But it'd be fun to maybe even just dedicate a whole half hour to talking about your story and everything.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd be honored.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What about you, dude?
I mean, I thought about this, asking you guys this question. So a recent struggle with me that I've realized that I have with my middle child, Riley, I'm trying, and I think he turns 6 next month. So he's honestly just out of just simple maturity doing this. But I think a struggle that I have with him is getting his reactions to things to be appropriate to their actual severity. So like what I mean by that is like if your cereal and your milk gets soggy, like you shouldn't throw a fit. You shouldn't have a meltdown over that. Like, or like, let me give an actual example recently. Like there was this point where he wanted to go to get the neighbor kid because he wanted to show him something. And his brother, Noah, who's older than him, said, "Oh, I'll get him." And Noah just like ran out the door. And Riley was still putting on his shoes. And Riley tried to be like, "No, I want to get him."
Sure.
But Noah was just gone.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs next door. They come back before Riley totally loses his mind. Totally, and and even Noah shows up with the neighbor kid and is like, I was just, he was like, I brought him to you because I wanted to show him too. I don't like, I'll let you show him what you wanted to show him. But Riley was just so mad about it. And I remember he even like looked at me and was like, you should put Noah in timeout because he was mean. And I was like, I told him, I said, I know you're mad, but I don't think this is worthy of a timeout, buddy. Like, I don't think he did much wrong, but your reaction is like,
yeah.
And it's like,
it's hard.
It's like I want to acknowledge his feelings, but also like it's not. You gotta scale this back. Like I don't know how to do that. And I think those things were much harder when he was like 3 and 4. So I'm not sure like if you guys have experience of that yet with your kids or how to, I don't know, tweak it.
I mean, it sounds like you handled it, like, from what I can tell, the right way is to just kind of almost like leading by example of like, all right, I'm not freaking out about this, so you shouldn't freak out about this. Yeah. Like if it's the whole cereal and milk thing, that's like, you should almost just like ignore them and be like, okay, it's like, that's just a thing. That's just something that happened, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's really not a big deal.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, will you fix it? And I'm like, I know.
It's impossible to fix and you shouldn't freak out about it. And I'm not freaking out about it.
Yeah.
And he is getting better. And sometimes he just needs time alone. But it's an interesting challenge when the thing that they are furious, especially if it's funny, that's worse.
Yes, it is worse.
He had at one time he was like, it's not funny. Oh, bro, if you start laughing about something and then
that's something you need to watch.
Not funny.
I think that's like, all of us though, right? Like if I'm losing it at a video game and my wife comes in and it starts laughing at me, I'd probably throw the controller at the wall.
Yeah, it's just a challenge. It's just such a challenge with kids, you know, because to them it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that a lot of it is maturity and just him just not having the experience, like enough of those experiences to kind of temper his expectations. And so, but yeah, I think you're on the right track, man.
Yeah, and acknowledging his feelings, I think, is important.
Yeah, I always tell him, I go, that I know I always say like, I know you're upset. I'll even say, and I can see why you're upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like it's necessary, but you shouldn't be this upset. Like this is too much.
Yeah. There shouldn't be like any like coddling in those situations. It should just be like, all right, here's the facts. And like, here's the appropriate response.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like the life, like it's not fair argument. Like I was so like, I've given up on that now. Like, and I think it's as early as possible, talk to your kids about like, guys, there's only one of me. There's 3 of you. I do not have the capacity to constantly juggle and make everything fair for all 3 of you. Like sometimes one of you gets a popsicle and the other doesn't. Like
life's not fair, man.
Did I share this? I don't know if I shared this last week, but
let's hear it. Popsicle story.
No, it wasn't even a popsicle. It was Noah, my oldest, had a basketball practice. And so his brother, bored at basketball practice, got his iPad because I was like, okay, you can have your iPad because you there's nothing to do. You can't even play basketball on the court because the courts are reserved by teams. So we just sat there. So I was like, you can have your iPad. Well, guess what Noah wanted when practice ended?
His iPad.
He wanted his iPad. And I said, no, you got to play basketball and be in a basketball league. We're going home and going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was upset. And I was like, I am not making things equal in every way.
Right.
You got something cool tonight. And like, he's 8 turning 9. He accepts those things better.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, I don't know. Parenting's so hard, man.
Concur. It's so amazing and so hard.
I love my baby girl right now. She's 1.5 and she just
exists.
No, if she's like, can I have that? I go, no, we can't have that, but let's go over here. She'll be like, okay. Like, it's just, Okay.
Everything's
Whatever.
still matter of fact for her right now.
Whatever you say, Dad. You said no, but that's cool. I mean,
enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know that'll change for sure because I think my other two were like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So she getting sassy slowly. It's happening. Anyway.
Word.
Well,
Awesome.
if you guys don't have anything else to share, I will. We can go ahead and wrap this one up. I think this was a pretty fun episode. We started a little late at night. It's almost midnight here. So for podcast listeners out there, if you want to play video games with us at midnight after we record, let us know. We're here.
I am not. I am not.
Preston is literally going to fall asleep in his chair after he hits stop.
Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for subscribing to Dad Casual. And if you're not subscribed, please do follow us on Twitter, Instagram. You can always write us as well at dadcasualpodcast@gmail.com. Man, soon we might be on Twitch. We have a new Facebook page, so please jump on Facebook. If you're subscribed to the other channels, especially, jump in. We want to start creating content and posting there as well. Not just our episodes. We're going to post all kinds of different things. And so we're trying to have fun over here. Join us. And until next time, this is Dad Casual. Bye.
See ya.